Good morning, welcome to EduSet Network. Friend, we are going to discuss e-books. What is e-books? And in the internet age, we are all changing to more dependent on internet. So the library is also changing. They are arranging books in e-forms. So how they are doing it? What are the e-books, which is also known as digital books or the electronic book? We'll try to understand what is it, how it is done, and what is its advantage and disadvantage, and also we will try to understand the key point which is kept in mind while organizing books in e-form in any academic library. And for discussion on this very topic, we have in the studio Dr. Manorma Tripathi. She is a deputy librarian there in Jawaharlal Nehru University. So I think her knowledge and experience will help us to understand this topic and give a kind of insight how the books are arranged in e-form in the any academic library. So on behalf, I welcome her for the EduSet lecture on this bill. Welcome.
As we all know that libraries worldwide are procuring e-resources in order to meet the educational and research needs of their users. The users are also more comfortable in using e-resources. For example, online journals, online databases, e-journals, and so on and so forth. Of late, the libraries have started procuring e-books in order to meet the needs of their users. So today we are going to talk about e-books. What are e-books, their evolution, the advantages and disadvantages which they offer, the key points which must be kept in mind by libraries in developing e-books collection. So first, e-books. E-book is a term which describes a range of digital objects from a digital version of a printed book to a program which includes interactive content and multimedia. E-books are available in wide variety of formats. Some of them can be downloaded in full to be read offline, while some may only be read online while connected to the internet. Now coming to evolution or origin of e-books. In 1931, Library of Congress developed talking book program. 1945, Vannevar Bush introduced e-book. 1968, Alan Kay introduced Dynabook for reading e-books. 1971, Project Gutenberg was introduced. In 1976, Kurzweil reading machine was developed by Ray Kurzweil. 1986, Overdrive started supplying e-books to libraries. 1991, Internet web page was created. 1996, first Palm Pilot was sold. 1999, Net Library was launched. In 2001, Apple presented first iPod. 2004, Google Books were introduced. In 2007, Amazon released Kindle ebook reader. In 2010, Apple introduced iPad handheld computer, and 2011 all ebooks outsold print books at Amazon. In these two slides we have seen how the ebooks have evolved. Now, advantages of ebooks. Ebooks are becoming very popular gradually because of certain advantages which they offer. Ebooks can be searched, can be accessed anytime, anywhere. The content of the ebooks can be updated easily. And in print books, we have to search, we have to look for content in a sequential, in a linear manner. Whereas in ebook, content can be searched non-sequentially. And then these ebooks have value-added features like users can annotate, they can insert their own comments, they can save, they have all the ebooks, for example, Net Library ebooks have dictionary in them, these can be consulted, and then from library perspective, these ebooks save lot of space too. But for example, as anything has advantages, it has disadvantages too. So we have certain disadvantages too, which are associated with ebooks. We cannot read for long on screen. Battery power, this limits the amount of ebooks can be accessed on various devices. Permanence, constantly changing devices and content formats creates problems in getting access. There are hidden costs too. So on all the publishers or the suppliers of ebooks, they impose restrictions on their use and printing facilities. Now we are going to talk about why this transition from print to electronic books. There has been a transition, there has been a paradigm shift in the way the users seek information. Earlier, the users were more comfortable in accessing print resources, but now they are more comfortable. They are more prone to using online resources. They are more comfortable in using online resources. Technology is more mobile with smartphones and iPad in the market, and access to computers, to desktops and laptops is becoming very common. These are the factors which are responsible behind this transition from print to electronic books. Now we are going to focus on various factors which the libraries must keep in mind while developing e-books collection. Content. It is important, content of e-books is very important and needs special consideration. Library staff does need to evaluate the content which is being offered by various publishers, aggregators and suppliers. No single supplier or aggregator or vendor can supply all the e-books which a library requires. And besides, all textbooks which are required by students are also not available as e-books. Some books like fiction or popular titles which are available as e-books may not be available for libraries to buy or purchase. And another factor which does need to be taken into consideration is that there are publishers who don't release the e-books with their print counterparts. That means there is a gap of say 6 to 18 months between the release of a print version of a book and release of its electronic version. Easy access. The interface, the search interface or the search interface of the e-book should be very easy. It should be user friendly. Then the libraries need to consider the ability to purchase individual titles. That means libraries should go for aggregators or publishers or suppliers who offer flexible mode of selection. That means libraries should be in a position to select individual titles instead of purchasing pre-customized bundles or packages. Then libraries should also be in the know of how many e-books which are being offered, and if books are being purchased from an aggregator, then how many publishers are covered under that package which is being offered by an aggregator. Is the collection or is the package which is being offered by an aggregator or supplier or publisher is generalized or special in nature? That means, will it be able to cater to the needs of large group of students or will it cater to a group of researchers? Does the package offered by the publisher or vendor have new titles or does it include backlist titles only? Does it have all the content which is being offered in print? Another factor which does need to be considered is, does the e-books package which is being offered, does it have books in languages other than English? Is the coverage adequate enough to meet the information needs of the users? And then quality of mark records also matters. Now coming to different types of suppliers of e-books. Libraries procure e-books from various publishers like Springer, Oxford or Cambridge. That means these publishers offer books published by them only. Vendors like Allied, Balani, Infotech, that means they act as intermediaries in providing e-books to the libraries. And once the purchase deal is finalized, their role stops over there and the library gets access from the website of the publisher. Then aggregator, examples are Net Library and My Library. Aggregator, as the term indicates, they aggregate content from various publishers. That means they don't publish any content on their own. They aggregate content from, they provide access to ebooks published from various publishers. And in online environment or or when libraries procure books, there are two concepts which are important. Just in time. When library procures print books, then their model is just in case. The library procures the books and preserves them for future in case a need may arise and a student may demand for it in future. But when library procures e-books, then the model is known as just in time. That means just in time is a system in which services are delivered immediately before they are required, in order to minimize storage space and cost. Now we are going to talk about different business models of ebooks. Different players in the ebook market, for instance, various suppliers, vendors and publishers, they offer different models. For example, individual titles and packages. Individual titles can be procured from some publishers and aggregators. E-books as packages. That means in e-books as packages, ready-made customized collections are available. Library does not have any choice to pick and choose the titles. It has to purchase whatever collections are being offered by the publisher or aggregator. But but when books are procured as packages, there are advantages too. Cost per title is less. Collection is pre-customized. That means library need not waste time in selecting the titles. Collection can be developed in less time. And subscription-based packages, there are certain vendors like Safari Online, they offer books on subscription basis and they allow swapping of titles. That means if a library finds that there are some titles which are not being used, then it can exchange with another title of the same package during the subscription period. But there are disadvantages too associated with package buying. Library pays for content which may not be used at all by the users. So in a sense, it represents poor value for money. Annual subscription. Under this, access is generally provided for a year. That means library has to pay at the beginning of an academic year or at the beginning of a calendar year for a particular e-books package, e-books database. Generally library has to pay, and the access is being provided as long as the year doesn't end. That means for a year library gets access, and at the end of the year library has to renew the subscription, otherwise it will no longer have access to the content. It has very many advantages. It provides good value for money spent, and in subjects like computer science or tourism, where the content is likely to be dated soon or likely to change, it is advisable to go for this model. Another business model is that of outright purchase model, which is also known as perpetual model. Under this model, libraries have to pay once and get access to e-books forever. In subsequent years, libraries have to pay an annual platform fee to provide for ongoing cost of hosting the purchased content. At times, the publishers waive platform fee if the library continues to buy some books, some e-books from the same publisher. But another disadvantage, or you can say a disadvantage associated with this business model of perpetual access is that it is more costly, it is expensive, and libraries have to spend more amount of money than they have to spend when they go for annual subscription. Another model, which is a combination of purchase and subscription model, and this is specially applicable for reference book. And Wiley offers this model in its reference books. That means libraries have to pay for the reference, for the content of the reference books, but reference books, as we know, they are updated very frequently. So they have to pay once for getting the full content, but annually, in order to get updates, they have to pay an annual subscription fee too. So this is a combination of purchase and subscription model, and which is usually offered for reference books where updation is very much required. In case library refuses, if library is not interested in having updated content, then it can pay the amount once and have the content forever. There is another model which is known as rental model, and it is like interlibrary loan. If a user wants to access ebook which has not been purchased or owned by library, then he can request for a rental. Library pays a fees and gets access to that particular book. Under this model, access is for short time and library does not add any ebook to its collection even after paying for it. As it happens in manual system, in interlibrary loan, library borrows a book from some other library and the user uses it for some time and the book has to be returned. And similarly, in rental model, it happens that access, if a book is required by a user which library doesn't own, then the library can request the publisher. Library has to pay a charge which is normally 10 to 20% of the print price. User gets access for some time and then access is stopped. So this way library does spend money, but it does not add to its collection. Then another model or business model of ebooks is pattern driven acquisition, which is also known as demand driven acquisition. Under this system, library staff selects the titles and loads their bibliographic details in their OPEX. The users browse the collection and a purchase is triggered if a book is accessed a certain number of times. Library pays the full price of the book which is added to its collection. Advantages of this system are it offers maximum value for money, no time is wasted in selecting the titles for procurement, no time is wasted in responding to the user's need, because here in selection process of the books the users are directly involved. So no time is wasted, no staff is not wasting any time in selecting the titles. Users are free. Since all the books are accessible, all the bibliographical details have been uploaded of a particular publisher in the OPAC of the library, so all the books are available. And if a user feels that a particular book is of his relevance to him and he opens it, browses it, uses it, so a purchase is triggered. Staff is not involved in selecting and no time is wasted in responding to the user's needs. As soon as the user feels that he requires a particular item, he gets access to that particular item. But at the same time, there are certain disadvantages associated with it. the library may develop an unbalanced collection. That means if users belonging to a particular subject area are more active, then they are going to select books of their field, and an unbalanced collection will grow, and libraries will have less budgetary control over the budget. So options available in order to address this concern is, if a user selects book and library feels that it's an expensive one, then the staff should be free to review it before the book is purchased. Then another model, which is pay per view. Under this model, the whole book is not purchased or procured, but a particular chapter is procured. And this model is good for acquiring chapters for including in virtual learning environment. Now coming to access models. Major concern for publishers who supply e-books is that if they supply one copy of e-book, it will provide enough opportunity for unlimited usage by the users. So they think they will have problem and they will generate less revenue. So in order to handle this aspect, they put certain restrictions on usage. And one is limited user model. Access may be limited to just a single user. That means library, if the publisher has imposed certain usage restriction, that means a particular book maybe is accessible to a single user. So this is also known as number of user license. If a particular library has taken 4 user license or has taken single user license, it implies that a particular book will be accessible to just one user or to just 4 users at particular time. In case 5th user logs in, then he will be denied access. So this type of business model is not good for books which are very much in demand or which have high demand, but this model may be good enough to serve the needs of the students for the books which are popular, but their usage is spread throughout the year. This model is not good for books which are popular, but if their use is concentrated in short span of time. And this method is not suitable for titles where usage is likely to be concentrated in shorter periods. And then this was limited user model. That means limited number of users, say 1, 2 or 3 or whatever library takes can access. For example, if library takes 5 user license, only 5 users can access the particular title at a time. That means limited number of users can access a particular title. Whereas in limited usage model, under this model, unlimited number of users can access a particular title, but the number of times a book can be viewed in a subscription year is limited. And if that usage limit is complete, then the book cannot be accessed until the next subsequent year when the usage is set to 0. So this is very important, and again it does not serve the purpose where the usage is limited, where usage is concentrated in short periods of time. Another model which is being offered by publishers, that is unlimited usage model. That means under this model, unlimited number of users or any number of users can access a particular book simultaneously or concurrently. They will not be denied access. In Springer eBooks they offer unlimited usage model. That means n number of users can access a particular title. So in online environment or in ebooks happens when the publishers, they want that the users should use their books in restricted manner. They put lot of restrictions on them. For example, generally what happens, they put a restriction on number of pages which can be saved or number of pages which can be printed. So these aspects or these restrictions are covered under digital rights management. DRM covers the description, identification, trading, protection, monitoring and tracking of all forms of rights usage relating to digital materials. Digital rights management software is used to control activities of printing, downloading, and reusing the content of ebooks on different devices. Libraries should ensure that the publisher should offer least DRM in order to maximize user satisfaction. So whenever libraries are developing or procuring ebooks for their collection, and when they are selecting the publisher or aggregator or vendor, then they should ensure that they should go for only those aggregators or publishers who offer least DRM restrictions. Then license agreement. License agreement is a kind of agreement which has to be signed between the publisher and the library, and this license agreement signifies, it spells out, it mentions the various conditions and how the product has to be used. Generally, it has been seen, it has been observed that these licenses are not very library friendly. These license agreement is agreement between publisher and library. It signifies, it spells who are authorized users, students, faculty members, walk-in users. It signifies how authentication and access to ebooks will be provided. It spells authorized usage. It mentions that ebooks are to be used for non-commercial purposes, and it signifies that it will involve limited printing, copying. It also spells if interlibrary loan is permitted or chapters can be uploaded for use in virtual learning environment. It also signifies what will be if technical advice will be offered by the publishers in case of need. Will they provide training to the users? Usage statistics. Will they provide usage statistics? Usage statistics are very important because they help the library staff in assessing, in evaluating the usage of the ebooks which it subscribes. It helps them in judging, in finding out whether the books have been adequately used, and this also helps in renewing the subscription. In case certain books are not being adequately or sufficiently or fairly used by the users, then on the basis of usage statistics, those titles can be swapped or deleted or can be dropped. Archiving. This agreement also signifies, it also spells out whether the publisher has any archiving policy or will it permit libraries to archive the content, and so on and so forth. So, in a recap, for ebooks collection developments, libraries need to have a strategy. They need to find out the appropriate coverage of the book collection or the package which they intend to buy. Then they need to know whether the content in the package is current or is 2-3 years behind the print collection. Then business model is of utmost importance. The interface of the ebooks should be very friendly, user friendly. Whether the publishers are providing free mark records. Usage statistics, as I said, is of immense importance. Then flexible packages, instead of subject packages, instead of fixed pre-customized collection, libraries should be free to pick and choose individual titles. Archiving policy of publisher is very important. Acceptable use, that means publisher should not impose too many restrictions, like number of pages which can be downloaded or printed, and so on so forth. Now once the collection has been finalized, the library has procured ebooks, then it's very important to make it visible and noticeable to the users, because users will not access the ebooks until or unless there are links on the website, until or unless they are communicated through websites. So how to make the ebook collection visible and noticeable to the users? First, mark records which a publisher does offer with the collection. They should be incorporated in OPAC of the library. All libraries can provide a separate A to Z listing of the books, of ebooks. Then ebooks should be facilitated. They should be made searchable through federated search or web scale discovery tools, which the libraries are very commonly using these days. And remote access, since the very concept, the best part of the ebooks is that they can be used anytime, anywhere, so they should be facilitated. Remote access to ebooks should be facilitated. Merely providing and procuring and providing links on the website to ebooks is not enough. Students or the users, they need to be communicated repeatedly with regard to the availability of ebooks. So here the role of promotional activities is very important with regard to ebooks. Libraries do need to conduct orientation programs on a regular basis in order to orient the users, in order to make the users familiar with the ebooks which the library offers. Then libraries can develop interactive online tutorials to teach the use of ebooks, how to retrieve information from ebooks. Then interface should be developed in such a manner that students with disabilities can also access ebooks. Ebook display or ebook days can be organized in order to attract the students and in order to teach them, in order to familiarize them with the content and coverage of ebooks. Ebooks offers lot of facilities to the users, but at the same time, libraries have to face a number of challenges in acquiring, procuring, and maintaining them. Libraries face challenges in selection, licensing, acquisition, and management of ebooks. There are very many reasons behind that, because all the textbooks which are required by the students are not available as ebooks. And as I said, embargo period is there. That means ebooks are released months behind the release of their print counterparts. And the business models are not very library friendly, and they vary from publisher to publisher. The different publishers offer different business models, and they are not very library friendly. Numerous ebook formats. Ebooks are available in different formats. Libraries procure books through packages instead of title by title, and at times end up paying for the content which may not be of relevance to them. It has also been observed that aggregators or publishers add or remove titles without informing the library. Then currency is another problem. Ebook packages are not very current. Individual titles are, we say that library should be, should be facilitated, should have free hand in selecting individual titles, but it has also been observed that individual titles are expensive to procure. Preservation of ebooks is difficult because of different file formats, software operating systems, and hardware. Sustainable access to ebooks is hard to maintain. There is lack of uniformity across publishers and aggregators in terms of license agreements, business models, and access restrictions. So to conclude, we may say that use and popularity of e-books is growing gradually, though there are very many challenges associated with them. Any perfect model for the acquisition in libraries is still to emerge. Things are in the state of development, and daily we are experiencing some or the other change, and no final business model has emerged. There are advantages and disadvantages of each and every model, and no size fits all. Of course, the acceptance of e-books by users and libraries will increase in future. E-books will be a core resource like print library collection, but they will certainly not replace print books and will exist side by side.
So I would like to ask you, because there are some Kindle e-book as you talked about and Google Books. So they are offering a large number of books at one place and people are buying it. So what are the collection of those books? Yeah, if one can have the collection of their choice.
Yes, most of them they are offering popular titles, and but individual users cannot buy them. All the individual users are not privileged enough to buy them. So naturally they have to take the help of libraries.
Okay. And what about the collection of choice? If suppose I want to go and purchase some kind of iPad, the Kindle, so can we have an option to select the books and ask to the providers just give these kind of the books?
Yes, option is very much there, but I think if we go via libraries, and we would love in future, maybe this is possible that libraries will preload the e-content on the e-book readers and provide them to the users. So going via library would be more economical to our students at least, because every individual student, at least in our setup, cannot be expected to have an e-book reader on his or her own.
Okay. So in those who can afford, they can do
they
it.
can go and buy, but it would be advisable to go through libraries, or I think in future when libraries, I think the days are not far when libraries would be providing this kind of facility on a common basis.
Okay. So the other things which I'd like to know, because now e-books are also being used for the research purposes. So in some cases, what happens, only a portion of the books are available online, but remaining part of the book is not available. So in that case, what students can do, they can ask for the free version, and they will have to purchase only.
When you see, when a part of, for example, in Google Books, the whole book is not available. Yeah. Only a part is there, and for it says full pages are not there, only for preview. That means users can know that book does exist in electronic format, and then they will have to buy in case they need to use it.
Okay.
Either they can demand it through their libraries, or they can buy it by themselves through Flipkart or Amazon.
Okay. So, well friends, today we try to understand the basics of the e-books, what are the advantages and disadvantages when a library go for the e-books development. And tomorrow we'll have another lecture on this very topic, so I think we'll get more knowledge on this very topic. And today we wind up the lecture. I thank all of you for watching the lecture, and on behalf I thank Dr. Manohar Tripathi for giving such a wonderful lecture on this very topic. Thank you very much.